Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to a new video. Today I'm going to be filming a book haul. Unfortunately, I have accumulated somehow a lot of books this month. And yeah, basically I've bought almost 30 books, which is absolutely insane for 1 month. But a lot of it has come from Bookswap, so we will be talking about them because that gives me some good deals, I won't lie to you. I have a couple of gifts from friends, gifts from publishers and things like that to show you as well. So I just thought I'd better film this, even though I only just had my birthday book haul go up. This was needed, okay? Because if I left this any longer, we'd be in trouble. The issue is I was on a book ban for the beginning of the year, like the first 4 months, which has now led to psychopathic behaviour where I've just constantly bought non-stop. I mean non-stop. So hopefully this has like filled that void. Book bans just don't work because then when they're done, I go over the top and like buy everything. And then I'm like, good deals everywhere, must buy everything, which is not good. But yeah, I'm going to show you some of the books I have bought this last month. But I'm going to start with gift. Okay, so jumping right in, a book I quite literally just opened in my vlog. We have Thea and Denise by Caroline Bond. Now, we're not 100% sure where this came from, so we're going to assume it's a publisher. I'm actually not entirely sure on the genre of this. Like, the synopsis is quite vague. I'm assuming just general fiction. But I'm like hoping for a thrillery twist, but I don't know. Like, the synopsis doesn't give anything away like that. But I love this cover. I think it's very beautiful. Next, I was on a tour, so thank you to Love Book Tours and the author G. Bailey for this one. But I got Luna Wolf by G. Bailey and Regan Rosewood. So we were lucky to get sent this, and luckily very kindly signed as well, which is really nice of the author. You'll find my review up on my Instagram at the end of the month. I have read this, so it's not an addition to my TBR now, thankfully. Then I received An Arc of Young Women by Jessica Moore, and I have read this as well. This was absolutely amazing, gave it 4 stars, but this comes out on the 27th of May, I believe, so in a couple of days. But this would have already released by the time you're seeing it, but I was really lucky to get An Arc, so thank you so much to the publishers for this one, Manila Press. I really appreciate it, thank you. Now from Jade, there was a pre-order she made for my birthday, and that was Electra by Jennifer Saint. This came through the door, and I had no idea it was coming, and I was like screaming, so this was so exciting, because I was like, the day it released, I was like, I'm gonna go to Waterstones and get it, I'm just gonna do it, and then I was like, no, maintain yourself. Because I had an ARC, and I didn't read it, an e-ARC, and I just never read it, because I really wanted to have it, which is terrible. So I was like, you can't buy it if you already own it. And then this came through the door. And I was screaming. And as you can see, I tabbed it. I have read this one. It wasn't my favourite, but I don't care because I still love it. And this cover is just everything. So thank you so much, Jade, for this one. It was really kind of you. Another one from the publisher, we have Meet Me in the Middle by Alex Light. And this was from Harper 360. So thank you, Harper. This sounds really interesting. I've not read it yet. It comes out on the 22nd of June, so I'll be reading it very soon. Hopefully I love this, even though it sounds traumatic. So again, thank you to the publisher. And then we have 2 very kind gifts from Connor. First of all, we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I really, really want to watch the movie of this with Lucy Hale because I absolutely love Lucy Hale, but I want to read the book first because I just like doing that most of the time. So I'm going to be picking this up very soon so that I can get to the movie. I've heard such good things, and I feel like it's going to be so my cup of tea because Enemies to Lovers is everything for me, and I love workplace romance as well, and that's everything in this book, so can't wait. And then next we have Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, which is the 2nd book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I'm so excited for this one. I really love the fine print, but everyone says this one's even better, so ready for this one. Cannot wait to pick this up. Definitely going to be one for the next few days, I think. So thank you so much, Connor, for those 2. That was really, really kind of you. Okay, so moving on from the gifts and publisher arcs and things like that, I'm going to go on to the books I bought from Bookswap. Now, if you're not aware, Bookswap is this app where or this website, I should say, where you upload your book, someone buys it, you then get a swapping point where you can buy anyone else's book, and you only pay for postage, but the postage is initially quite expensive at like £3. But you can buy multiple books from the same person. And I bought like 10 books from the same person, and it works out then at £1.50 a book. Which, wait until you see what kind of books I got. You're going to be screaming, because I'm screaming. If you are interested, I have got a referral code down below where you get a book point and I get a book point for signing up. Completely up to you. I think it's worth it, especially when you find good deals like this. So yeah, if you decide to use it, or if you do use it already and you have found good deals on there, let me know, because I'm so intrigued by watching what people get. And I literally can't believe the haul that I got this time around. Now, none of these are in like brand new condition, but they're pretty good. So first of all, we have Caraval and Legendary by Stephanie Garber. And not only are these hardbacks, which are pretty hard to get, but they're also the hidden cover hardbacks. I believe this is the Tesco exclusive with the top hat, which is a pretty rare one to find. So I'm feeling pretty lucky about that. They're also first editions, which is amazing. I think this one's a hidden cover as well. I don't know if this one's like a rare one or anything, but that's pretty cool. Again, first edition. So I couldn't believe when they arrived and they were like that, because it did say on the listing hardback, but you can never be sure. So I was like, and then they arrived and I was screaming. So couldn't believe this. Very pleased, very excited, can't wait to read these. Then I got Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, and I believe this is the Owl Crate edition, which I did not know because it was uploaded as the regular blue cover, and then it arrived and it was red, and I was like, what is this? Like, what cover is this? And I think, I could be wrong, but it is signed. So I think it's the Owl Crate edition. Someone just let me know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's literally the regular edition, just signed. Maybe it's an American edition. I literally have no clue. There's nothing special about it to be Owl Crate other than being signed. But I don't know this cover otherwise. So if someone would let me know, that'd be really helpful. Either way, I'm really excited to have a signed Julie Kagawa. That's really, really cool. Then we have a couple of Fairy Loot editions where they're like old Fairy Loot, you know, before they became really popular. So we have Mirage by Samaya Dowd. This has the purple sprayed edges and signed. I think that's all that's special about it. Yeah. But this sounds really, really interesting. The synopsis is actually so up my alley. So I think I'm going to be picking this up soon because it's also super short and small. Next we have a book that I don't think it's Fairy Loot, but it's signed, and that's Beyond a Darkened Shore by Jessica Leake. So it has a book plate which says HarperCollins on it. So I don't think it's Fairy Loot. I don't know, again, people are gonna have to tell me. But this one's really, really interesting. I hadn't heard much of this. And then I had a look at the book on Goodreads before I bought it, and it sounded really, really interesting, so I bought it. And then since then, I've heard a lot of good reviews, which is great. So I'm really excited now to get to this one. You can laugh at me if you want, but there's a really particular reason I bought this, and that's because there's a crow in this, as you can tell from the cover. I don't know if any of you played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but Sunan is the bird, and it reminded me of Sunan, so I bought it. I don't need a lot of reasons to buy books, as you can tell. That's why I have such a big haul. I just buy them. Fun. And then we have another Fairy Loot, and that is Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye, which again, I think is signed. Are you? Yeah, it is. And it has a little Fairy Loot symbol up there. I think this was the days before they made customizations, yeah. So there's not any customizations really, other than the sprayed edges. This one again is so up my alley. It has assassins in it, and the cover is beautiful. Again, hadn't heard a lot about it until I'd bought it, and then I saw quite a few reviews pop up, and not all were good. So I have high hopes on this one. Assassins are just so my cup of tea that you don't need to say much to convince me. I just love an assassin, to be honest. Then we have what I believe are just regular editions, but they're hardbacks, so I was really happy. Ace of Shades by Amanda Foodie. Nobody I know talks about this except for Emma's Books or something. She was one of the first people that I started watching on BookTube, and she used to talk about this book all the time. I think she was rereading the series or something at the time. So even though I've heard nothing else from anyone else, the fact I'd heard from it and heard such high things made me want to pick it up, so I did. And yeah, it seems super interesting. I'm hopeful I'm going to enjoy it. The synopsis does sound really, really good. So if you've read this, let me know whether I should be prioritising it or not. Next, I've got Fury Born by Claire Legrand. A couple of my friends have really, really enjoyed this, and so I thought, what the heck, I'm going to give it a try. I don't know if it's going to be my cup of tea. And when it arrived with deckled edges, I thought this is a sign to throw it away. But I'm going to try. I saw someone say the other day that it's much easier to turn a deckled page, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, I'm just skipping multiple pages here. Anyway, completely off the track. This is the first book in a series. I think it's like high YA fantasy. I don't know a lot, I'm not gonna lie. I just hear a lot about it. Like, I don't know anyone that doesn't like this series, I don't think. So I'm hopeful. I have high hopes. I have high expectations. I really hope it doesn't let me down. But for £1.50, like, I'm sorry, what? I couldn't go wrong, could I? And finally, I got Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte Mcconaughey. This sounds really interesting, and I wouldn't have picked it up based on the synopsis alone, but I've seen nothing but good things. Everybody who's read this has loved it, so I feel like I'm gonna love it as well, because even people who wouldn't normally read this sort of book have enjoyed it. So I like it. I'll get back to you on this one, on how I feel. So those are all the books that I got from Bookswap. Bearing in mind, again, they were £1.50 each when you worked it out, or just less than, which is absolutely insane to me. Like, I can't believe I found those. Now, obviously, Bookswap doesn't have deals like that all the time. It depends on who's uploading, but I always upload my books there. Hardback, paperback, doesn't matter. Signed, not signed. I don't know. So it's definitely worth having a nose, because you can set a wish list that'll then email you when it becomes available, so you don't have to like keep your eye on it all the time. And next we're going to move on to books that I've just purchased from various places randomly. Let's get on with it, because this is a big pile. Firstly, we have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have just finished this, and I will see this going in the unhaul pile very soon, so don't really know why I'm showing it to you. However, I can't be mad, because I literally bought this for 16p. This was 16p, so can't really complain, can I? I did buddy read this with Lauren. Lauren had to explain it all to me because it was well beyond my brain capabilities, but I can't complain. Again, 16p, so. Next, I went to Huang and vlogged the experience. You can see the vlog up there, down there, wherever you want to see it. And I bought 2 books. First being the Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey. This edition is beautiful, and I'm planning on buying the whole box set for these because, wow, gorgeous. And this is a super short one, so I thought I'd read this to see how I felt about Jane Austen's work, because I don't think I've ever read one. I mean, I could have read one in school for like required reading, but I certainly don't remember if I did. So I don't think I have read any Jane Austen before, and I'm excited to do so. So I thought I'd give this a taste test, see how I feel about her writing, and then buy the whole box set, because that's normal things to do, of course. And the other book I bought at Huang was Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. Everybody talks about this, and everybody says how like accurately scary it is to our current situation and time period. So I'm really intrigued by this short seeming read, but I think it's going to be impactful, and I'm really excited to read this when I'm in the right headspace to like properly evaluate what I'm reading, because I think it's going to be one that teaches a lot of lessons. Next we have The Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. Now this gets terrible reviews. The Goodreads rating, not it. So I've put off buying this. But the thing is, I'm really enjoying the off-campus series, and I just want to try this before the sequel comes out, just to see how I feel. I don't have to love it. It was cheap. It's not the end of the world if I don't like it, but I really feel like I need to decide for myself and read something of Elle Kennedy's that isn't in the off-campus series, or like Briar U series or something like that. I wanted to try not a standalone, but a separate series from her. So I'm intrigued by this one, but I'm well aware that my expectations need to be low going in because of how many people have disliked this book. As in, I don't think I've seen a positive review yet, so that's going well for me. But yeah, I'm really on a romance kick, so you're about to see a lot of romance from me. I don't know what's going on. I'm not a romance girly. I started to get into like adult dark romance / smut last year, but like that was it. Like I still couldn't deal with like contemporary fluffy romance. Who am I? I've completely changed, and now all I do at this point is read fantasy or romance. So I'm a changed woman. Next, I picked up The Roommate by Rosie Dannon, and I'm going to be honest, I picked this up purely because it was £2 on Amazon. Boy, was I surprised. I have read this and I love this. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable. It's very different from the other romances out there because it handles a lot more than just a romance. Our male protagonist is a porn star. He's talking about the things that are wrong with the sex work community and how they're treated unfairly. And sex work shouldn't be frowned upon, but it should be like destigmatized so that we can talk about it more openly and people won't get treated so badly within the industry. And I think that was such an interesting discussion to have because it took a higher level than just a romance, which I already really enjoyed and thought was fabulous. I thought we had a lot of like chemistry between our characters, but I loved that it had that extra level to it. And even though this isn't a wrap up, I definitely wanted to mention that because I think it's such a good story, and if you're looking for recommendations, this should be one you pick up. And next we have The Dating Game by Sandy Barker. I did just read this yesterday, didn't love it. Have a review up on Goodreads if you're interested. I picked this up again in the 3 for 5 works section, so I can't really complain. It was really cheap, like, it's fine, but yeah, I'm not sure I'd recommend it. You need to see my review, it's very complex. But again, we're not here to wrap up, but as I've read it, I thought I'd just tell you. Again, bouncing back to the Hey on My vlog, because I missed one, I bought The Man Who Rode the 10-Speed Bicycle to the Moon by Bernard Fiskman. I'm going to be completely honest, I did not buy this to read. Okay, I know that I'm trying to read every book on my shelves, and one day I will read this because I do want to read every book on my shelf, but it's not because that the synopsis is good that I picked this up. It is because of how pretty it is. Like, look at this book. That cover. I love it. I like have a connection with this book. It has got little blue sprayed edges, but I just really, really love this cover. There's something about it that mesmerizes me, like full on mesmerizes me. And I quite regularly go find myself standing on my bookshelves just looking at it because of how pretty it is. So I have no regrets buying this, and one day I will read it so that I don't have any unread books on my shelves. But like, I didn't buy this for the synopsis. Next we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I have heard so many things about this one. Everybody seems to enjoy it. Everybody seems to love it. So I have high hopes, okay? If you guys have let me down, I'm gonna cry. It does sound really, really intriguing, and I'm hoping for good things. I love the fact that this is like got a neurodivergent character. I believe she's got autism, Asperger's. So I think this is going to be super interesting. The only thing is, how heavy is the math in this book? Because I do not do math. I do not like math. I want nothing to do with math. And next we have a book that's basically Marmite. That is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Amaz. You will probably not find anyone without either a glowing review of this book or an absolute hatred of this book. It just seems to be like polar opposites on the spectrum, and I'm just so intrigued to see where I sit on that. I've heard everything about this book. I've heard that Aaron Blackford is the best character on the planet, that he's so lovable, but I've also heard that the characters are incredibly flat and that there is nothing to take from these characters. So I want to see how I feel about this book, especially considering everybody seems to be obsessed with Aaron Blackford, but as far as I'm concerned, this is a sole POV, not from Aaron's perspective. So how are we going to fall in love with him? I do not know. But this is a chunky romance, so if this is not good, I'll be really mad that I'll have spent this much time with the book, because it is 500 pages, almost 500 pages. Next we have a super short read that I've not heard anybody talk about, and that is Sophia Khan and the Baby Blues by Aisha Malik. I just saw this walking around Warstones and I was like, I didn't know that existed. I've never heard of it. But it sounds like so interesting for somebody of my age group. It sounds like one of those books that like you don't know what to do at this time of your life, your mid-20s. Oh, mid-20s, that hurts to say. Ouch, I feel old. I think that's what she is. It's kind of like a romance, but also a girl getting her life together or looking at what's going on with her life and trying to appreciate it, I think. It's a super short one. I'm really intrigued to get to it. Recently, I read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And after reading Verity, I didn't have high expectations, but I was blown out of the water by that book. That book was 5 stars. It was amazing. I know everybody's got controversial opinions on it, and I understand that, and that is fine. But that book was amazing in my opinion, and I need to know how I feel about more of her books to see if that was like a one-off or if I really am a Colleen Hoover stan. So yesterday, going into W.H. Smith. The Works have always got her books on offer for a £5, but W.H. Smith had all best-selling paperbacks, buy one get one free, and Colleen Hoover's books are £9, so it was £9 for 2 books, so that's cheaper than The Works. So I thought I'd pick them up. I picked up Maybe Someday. I hate this cover. I hate this cover so much. I hope this gets a cover change, even though I won't own it, so that will be great. But I had to just get past it because this had the best sounding synopsis. So yeah, I'm assuming all of Colleen Hoover's books right now are going to take me down a whirlwind of emotions. So I'm prepared. I'm ready. So I've got that one to read. And then I also have Without Merit, which again, I hate this cover, not as much as the other one, but I really hate this cover as well. Both sound really sad, really dark, but also romance. And I like romance, even if it is dark and sad. I want to see the romance. Again, some books I've never heard anyone talk about, but we're in the Works 3 for £5 section. We have The Handover by David M. Barnett. Sounds interesting, and I'm trying to pick up more books that people haven't talked about, just because then I go in with no preconceived notions on the story, and I can really judge my book for myself without knowing what anyone else has thought about it or clouding my mind, which I feel like sometimes you just need when you're a book fan, because BookTube and Bookstagram and BookTok, all of them can fill you with so much knowledge of a book before you go in, that really you're not going in with you're going in kind of prepared. And I just want to sometimes experience it not like that. That doesn't make any sense, but do you know what I mean? Like, do you have any understanding of what I mean? Like, I want to just read something fresh. So that's what I'm trying to do by reading books that no one talks about. And then the other one we have is A Second-Hand Husband by Claire Coleman. This sounds really fun. This sounds really interesting. This woman and her husband move to a new house without the woman's consent. Like, he literally buys a house and said, we're moving. She's like, what? And then finds out that her neighbour is his ex-wife. I think it's her just coming to terms of like, can she deal with this? Is there like something going on in the back between those two? Really, really excited for this one. Like, this actually sounds so intriguing. Next we have from Fairy Loot, An Arrow to the Moon by Emily XR Pan. I don't think I've hauled this one. I'm hoping I haven't. Just from Fairy Loot, we have beautiful blue sprayed edges, and is it digital? No, I think this is a normal signed paperback. Maybe I'm wrong. That definitely looks real signed, because like the pens run out of the top. Someone else can let me know. I wasn't intrigued by this at all until I read the prologue, and now I'm like fully invested. Can't wait to pick this up. Picked up this book. Okay, this book is on my Kindle, but on Amazon to buy this book brand new is £15.99, so £16. And I found it in the charity shop, 75p. And that is Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole. Now, this is not in the best condition. Like, we do have a bit of pen and some of our pages, like, I don't know what they were doing with this book, but yeah, they've completely like bent pages and stuff. But I'm going to just read it on my Kindle as I have it. And then if I love it, at least I've got this book on my shelves as like a final copy of a book I already love. Is that weird? Does anyone else do that? Like, if you read a book on Kindle, but then you love it, buy it physically? Because I do that all the time. So I've just like preempted myself by finding this, because I was literally walking out like, I never find anything good here. And then I saw it, I was like, that's an expensive book. Like, I know that's expensive because I bought the Kindle version because of how expensive it was. And then yeah, here it is. This is slow burn, age gap, and marriage of convenience. So like every trope that everybody loves. So I hope this is going to be a really, really good one for me. Especially at that price, I can't go wrong. And then finally, I feel like I kept this quite short and sweet. I picked up 2 books again yesterday, and they're a little expensive, let me tell you. And I got The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper, and then the sequel, The House with the Golden Door. I have already owned this in paperback, and I have read it and loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I read it on one of my Spend the Day Reading With Me videos. I see videos, I've only filmed that once. So you can see my crying up there. And I've been wanting to pick up the hardback because this one has only come out in hardback and it won't be coming out in paperback for another year. And I need to know what happens in the story. Like, I need to read it. Yeah, I could get the Kindle copy, but like, why do that when you could just spend all your money on other ones? So I went into the store and found both of these signed right next to each other. That was a sign. And I had £10 credit on Waterstone's card. So basically it cost me £25 instead of £35. That is not helpful. But yo, it came with little ribbon bookmarks. I'm so excited about this. I'm not a historical fiction lover, but this book at least was so good that I couldn't help but like pick this one up and maybe become a historical girly. It kind of has mythology vibes. So even though I'm not a historical girl, the fact that it reads like mythology really helped me get into this. And yeah, I'm totally into it now. So excited to get to this one. So those are all the books that I've hauled in the last month. I'm really sorry if I sped through because I just want to get through it. Like, there was a lot of books and I don't want to make you sit here all day listening to different synopses. If you've read any of these books, please let me know down below what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. Do you think I'm going to like or dislike any of these? Let me know down below and I shall speak to you in the next one. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.